It's another Manly Monday, and this Manly Monday we are talking about what I touched on Friday, the idea of building you up, the tough love approach, versus beating you up. And this is on Manly Monday because of the fact that we do have data that parents of all genders are uniquely rough on boys. Boys are disciplined more often and more strongly for similar transgressions to girls. Girls are emotionally nurtured more, actively soothed more. There is a bias. Instead of it's a baby is a baby. A baby needs nurturing and safety. And, somebody asked on Friday, what do I mean by protecting boys? I mean this. Emotionally, right? Emotional teamwork, I'll say. But boys do need to be shielded. Like a 10-year-old boy should not be told, you're the man of the house, look after your mother, if dad's going away on business or something like that, right? It's that old cliche in the movies, the dad has just died and it's always raining at funerals in movies, but like, you're the man of the house now, son, look after your mother. And the kid's like, this small, like, he's little. It's ridiculous to say that to a kid that young. It parentifies them. It stunts their emotional development. It instills in them an air of disposability, which, certain systems want, when the system was designed to create factory workers and soldiers, disposability was a desirable quality. We're not in that economy anymore. Thank goodness. So we're going to get into beating you up versus building you up. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K, or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it, coffee.com/Leanna K, or sign up for a Leanna Care session yourself if you want one-on-one help with issues related to this or anything else you've seen in a video or anything else. Link in the description box below. Okay, so, there's a difference between someone saying, I know you're better than this, you messed up, and attacking your very character. And when people are raised with verbal abuse masquerading as tough love, what it does is it doesn't allow people to separate did a bad thing from am a bad person. We all make mistakes. We all inconvenience people. We all get in the way sometimes. But if you were raised in a home where you were defined by being a burden, that's right. Every time you're in the way, every time you inconvenience someone, it's crash of self, start from zero again, have to build back up, stupid. When you are raised where parents apologize when they've legitimately made a mistake, they model owning their mistakes and it being okay and making them right in any way they can, people raised in those homes grow up being able to be accountable, to own their mistakes while recognizing that making a mistake does not then mean that another person has the right to do anything they want to you. They don't. And when someone is beaten up instead of built up, they just think they have to eat any shit that is thrown their way because that's what it was. The smallest mistake, the boom lowered. And so that was normal growing up. And so they think that's the way the world is. Whereas somebody who has been raised or done a lot of work on themselves and recognized, look, somebody can be angry with me without being abusive. And I want to talk about the difference, right? Because there are a few telltale signs, and we all hold stuff in sometimes because we don't want to get into it, and it comes out in this huge roar. We all do it. That doesn't automatically make you an abuser. What it means is, all right, you lost your shit. That's cool. But, let's suck back, reload, possibly apologize for, I shouldn't have said always. It's just been more times than I can handle. Not you always do this. It's like, I just can't handle this dynamic anymore. That's a better way to phrase this. Somebody told me last week, and it's been sitting with me ever since, that he had this friend in university, and at the end of university, they known each other like 5 years, just unloaded on the guy in a single session all these things that it was a woman that he was doing wrong, that was getting in his way. And like 5 years in, that was pretty much it for, any sort of close friendship. Because if you're really looking to build somebody up instead of beat them up, you bring things up closer to the time, and if possible, one at a time. And sometimes that's really hard because we all have that one person that you tell them at the time, yeah. Or the one I've grown to really red flag is, I'm sorry. Like, oh, aren't I being a great person for apologizing? You're driving me crazy. When it's that condescending, I'm sorry, okay. Really new experience with that. Or groveling apologies. Both of those are a sign something's wrong, because both of those are not accountable apologies. They're just shut up about it, don't say anything more. For different reasons, but the result is the same. So, unfortunately, in friendships like that, the guy doesn't correct the first behavior, and then he doesn't correct the second behavior. Well, the first one's still an issue, and then there's a third, and then there's a fourth, and finally you have to go, this needs to stop. There's this. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these situations where the person didn't say anything. They, give them the benefit of the doubt. The guy really was fucking up. They just let him do it for years and then unloaded on him and told him long after there was an ability for the guy to do anything about it. That's just not cool. That's not cool on any planet. If you're really building someone up, tell them they're making a mistake when they still have time to fix it, right? Yes, it might be a difficult conversation. Yes, they might not take it well and they might get upset with you, but at least you said it before there were dire consequences. So if you tell them, say, after they get fired, that doesn't prevent them from getting fired, right? If the best way to build someone up is to tell them there's a problem when there's still time to fix it. If it's just, this is broken now and there's no chance of fixing it because you did this, and this, that's just beating them up. That's just tearing them down, right? It's not building up the relationship. It's not building up the other person. And it's not building you up either. Because nobody likes to lose a friend. It hurts. Even when you know you're 100% in the right. It's rare that someone's 100% right. But you've given them multiple chances. You told them before. You told them what they were doing wrong. You gave them plenty of time to make amends. You even made suggestions about some things that you would see as effort on their part. And they don't do any of it. It still hurts. It still sucks. You still wish it went another way, right? But sometimes it has to happen because it takes two people. And that's the thing. Every relationship, including between a parent and a kid, takes two people. And while there's an imbalance of power with the parent and the child, there is still, the child is a person. It's a little person. It's a person who's not, fully formed, not totally accountable for everything they do yet, but they're their own person, not an extension of or a reflection of the parent. They're their own person with their own nature. Nurture, you can do great things with that. You can do not great things with that. But everybody starts with sort of a core personality. And that's what makes us, those unique and special characteristics about us that have good and bad to every single one of them. That's what gives us worth. That's what gives us something to offer the world. That unique perspective. And that is true of everyone, even when you're behaving badly, right? To me, my rule of telling somebody they're doing something wrong is that I actually want to preserve something by doing that. I'd rather say, look, this isn't working for me. And give the person a chance to turn around. Because too often in my life, I got that I was just ripped a strip off of with all these things that apparently I'd done wrong. And nobody told me at the time that it was a big problem. It was a gang up, right? It was an excuse to, nope, you're gone. And it felt horribly unfair. It felt soul destroying. So I don't want to do that to other people. And so I will let them know when there's an issue with enough time for them to turn it around. Sadly, a great number of people don't. And that's the part you can't control. All you can do is give people the chance, because enabling bad behavior isn't building them up either. I really believe that people know when, some people have imposter syndrome that's not fair to themselves, but people know when they haven't earned it. People know when they've bullied you into submission. And that's why some people constantly try to get you to prove that you still like them, you still want them around, because they got a guilty fucking conscience, right? Why would you think I don't want you around? Now, okay, some people who have conditions like borderline personality disorder, that's a marker of the disorder. And it's a disorder because of that, because they need constant reassurance that people in their lives want them around. And that can be very draining. And everybody has the right to not sign on to that. But if you've got a friend or a loved one with BPD, and I learned that, you know what? It doesn't hurt to tell everybody a little bit more, hey, I like your face, right? Because that's building them up. It's got to be honest. But, you're really good at that. This world is better with you in it than not, right? Sometimes you don't, this is the thing with this achievement driven, especially with men. You can work your ass off and not get a desirable outcome. Even the greatest salesman in the world has slow periods. Sometimes the most meaningful things for other people is just someone who will listen, someone who will keep a confidence, someone who won't betray your trust, someone who, people think I'm a raging bitch for my rule that if I have a problem with you, I'll say so. But people, once that's tested and I said, I have a problem with this, they know they don't have to constantly worry that I'm harboring some sort of resentment against them. That I will say when something's not working for me, and we'll work it out. It won't be a fucking crisis, a 5-alarm fire, the first time they hear about it. If you've got someone who holds things in, they may think that's an act of altruism, but it's really not. The most altruistic thing you can do is address problems when they're small. And a lot of you watching this probably didn't grow up in a household that practiced this. And so this is like, what? Nobody does this. People do. People who just hold shit in, they grew up in a culture of mind reading, most likely. That, oh, you were supposed to anticipate. You're supposed to do these grand gestures. And after a while, nobody does. Especially if everybody's tired. Especially if there's all these lingering resentments that have never been dealt with. That's not as likely to be successful as saying, hey, can we do this differently? Or can we redefine this? Can we work this out? Can we get clarity? There's a lot of non-confrontational ways to clear some shit up and set boundaries in a friendly way. And that builds both people up because it's small, you know, especially people with personalities, but everyone, when you know it immediately and you can fix it and things get better, that's very reassuring. That builds up everybody involved. Both people get stronger and the relationship does. And sometimes it gives you a really clear indication that you do have to cut things off. I had a situation recently where I got the sense that somebody I was in a business relationship with was not being transparent. That's a euphemism. I thought they were lying. And so took something small and made an agreement, right? It was, hey, okay, if my team comes up with something for social media, you'll just put it up. You know, you may not think it's perfect, but as long as there's nothing actively wrong with it, just put it up, please. Yes. It wasn't a nice yes. It was fine. I guess if you think it's fine, nobody cares what I think, but it was an agreement, right? Okay, great. So if we send you something, you'll put it up. 5 days later, we sent this person something. She spit it back, wanted it reshot. A TikTok video. There was nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't what she would have done. So 5 days, first try, agreement broken. It's simple then. Very simple. And then you can go, okay, this isn't working. There's no misunderstanding here. We had an agreement. It was only 5 days. It's not possible that they just forgot. And there was no misunderstanding. It was very clear. Just shit not given, not honest. And we had to have a difficult conversation. Unfortunately, with that particular gig, it worked out. But, and I'm not going to say how it worked out because that would be breaking privilege. But sometimes you got to do that. And yes, that's digging in to an extent. But it's not dishonest, right? It's okay, we've made a deal. Test the deal. Okay, that didn't work the way the deal was supposed to work. We gotta, hit the panic button. We gotta talk about this. Because, what I said is I can work with difficult. I can't work with liars. And you gotta, to build yourself up instead of beat yourself up. This applies to you too. You gotta set those boundaries and then enforce them. And the nice way about making something nice and simple and testing it is that no one can claim that was anything but what it was. Made deal, broke deal. Doesn't matter what the reasons for the broken deal was, deal broken. Right? Real simple. And that, you may think that actually increases conflict, but it doesn't, because it's so cut and dried. It can't be, well, you misunderstood or somebody misheard. No, it was in writing. Right? I don't have to constantly wonder if I did something wrong there. That was so cut and dried, it's obvious. And that makes it easier for me to move on. That makes it easier for me to self-advocate. That makes it easier for me to sleep at night. So my own conduct with other people not only builds up other people, because if there's no consequences for treating you poorly, then there's no benefit to treating you well. So the people who treat me well and benefit from that, that's not worth as much if everybody gets what the people who treat me well get, right? That's just tearing down other people by proxy. By setting boundaries and making it real clear and not being an asshole about things, just very clearly, deal, broke deal, real simple. I build myself up. I build the people around me up. I build the bonds and the networks around me. And nobody gets beaten up. These are not systems where one person eats all the shit, like so many toxic environments. If you just feel like you're eating shit, something's wrong. Trust that feeling. And if you want help working through it, you can become a Leanna Cares client, link in the description box below, or you can buy a one-time Leanna Cares session for someone who but can't afford it, coffee.com/LeannaK, or you can become a patron and support these videos that everybody can benefit from for free on YouTube if you watch an ad, patreon.com/LeannaK. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching Manly Mondays.